So when you're looking to purchase a piece of real estate, whether it's a home or investment property, is it a good idea to have a real estate attorney, to engage a real estate attorney to assist you with the transaction? Well, folks, the short answer is yes. It's good to have a real estate attorney. A real estate attorney is going to be experienced, they're going to be educated in the area, and they're going to be able to protect your interests throughout the whole transaction. Now, the best way that I can explain what a real estate attorney will do for you is by example. First of all, we did discuss, from example, some of the things that I usually handle when I'm representing a seller in a transaction, and you can check out those videos down below in the description. But now back to if you're buying a piece of real estate. First thing I usually start off with is discussing what type of real estate this is, because no two pieces of real estate are the same. First of all, this is a single family home. If it's a single family home, folks, then we're going to discuss things like, is it seller occupied? Is it being rented? That's going to make a difference, right? Because if there's a tenant there, then that might cause a delay. In normal circumstances, that might cause a delay because the tenant might refuse to get out. Now we're talking about the era of COVID, and of course, there are delays with getting tenants out in that instance. But those are issues that we would talk about. Also, is a single family home near any water, near any marshlands? Because the other concern that we might have here is whether you need to carry flood insurance in the future. And that is an expensive proposition. So it's a good thing to know up front. What else might we discuss? Well, if it's, let's say, for instance, it's a condo. Now, with condos, depending on the size of the building, how many units are there, what type of condo association are we talking about? Is this a corporation that's managing the condo building? Or are we dealing with a management company? If that's the case, then we have to discuss the possibility of future increases in the condo fee. Because remember, folks, if there's a corporation involved, they're not living at the property, right? So they won't hesitate to increase your condo fees every year. Now, if it's an owners association, how big is the association? Is it a formal owners association? If that's the case, that's what you usually want. That's what I usually tell my clients, because they're going to be keeping a budget. They're going to be keeping a reserve. If it's a smaller building or a smaller development, you might have a really informal condo association. Always my encouragement to my clients that are buying into a smaller association or smaller building that might have a smaller condo association is be as formal as you can, because you always want to make sure that there's enough money in the reserve. Heaven forbid there is an emergency in the building, like the roof goes, or there's painting or improvements that need to be done. You don't want to have the folks involved with the association chasing after other unit owners for money in order to pay for these improvements or pay for repairs. What other issues do we discuss? Well, let's say, for instance, the property is a multifamily and you're looking to purchase this property with it already tenanted. Maybe it's a 1 or 2 family, maybe it's a duplex. In this instance, then, I'm going to discuss the status of the tenants with you. We're going to want to see the leases that are in existence, if there are any leases. And if it's a tenant at will situation where there aren't any written leases, then we're going to want some assurances from the seller, right? That these tenants are good and that you're not inheriting a problem. The other thing we're going to inquire about is whether there's any tenant deposits being held, because there are statutes, folks, that regulate the way residential tenant deposits are held. So we want to make sure that the deposits are being held in accordance with the law. In this instance, Massachusetts law, but it could be right across the board no matter what state you're in. What other issues do we discuss? Well, folks, we'll discuss things like what's going to be included in the sale. Is the seller going to include items for you? Things like refrigerators, washer dryers, could be other type of equipment, lawn equipment, if there's a pool equipment. Is the seller planning to leave anything behind? Because we have to make sure that we include that inside your purchase and sale to ensure that it's there at the time of the closing. What are some of the other issues that we might discuss? Well, if you did a home inspection, folks, whether the seller is intending to make repairs prior to the closing, what type of repairs are they, and whether a contractor needs to be engaged. Because if that's the case, then that language will need to be going into the purchase and sale as well to ensure that those repairs are done at the time of closing. Maybe you're receiving a credit instead of the seller doing the repairs, because the seller might come back and just say, well, I don't want to do the repairs, but here's money and you go do it. We make sure that that language is put inside the purchase and sale as well. So these are just some of the issues that a good real estate attorney will discuss with their client when the client's looking to purchase a piece of real estate. Now, remember to click the bell or subscribe to in the lower right-hand corner of the video to my channel. Check out the links that I have included inside the description below. And some other videos will be appearing here that are related to this one. I'll have a real estate list that will appear here as well. Dave Ceruolo, CeruoloLaw.com.